Hi guys, welcome to this YouTube channel. In the previous video we created multiple security groups. Now we are ready for launching our ec2 instances. So let me tell you what I'm going to do this in this video. I'll be launching two ec2 instances, one in public and another one in private subnet, but both in same availability zone. Then after we will access the ec2 instance and use the public ec2 instance as a bastion host to access the private ec2 instance. We will be installing and configuring MySQL DB server, and then we will be doing testing that if we can access MySQL server from public ec2 instance where I plan to run Django applications. Okay, sorry sorry about that. Let's go ahead and do it. So simply we can do is go to instance here and launch instance. So the first one I want to deploy is app server. So I'll call it name app server, and I'm going to use Ubuntu. That's a free tier eligible, and I'm going to select T2 micro, and I want to select a key pair, create a new key pair. I'll call it my key pair and create key pair. Select in the download folder, copy. After that we can go ahead and edit the network settings, select the right VPC, and as I mentioned before, we want this to be in a public subnet to a, and enable public IP address and select the security group. So from the drop down menu we can select the security group, and we can say Django application security group. That's very easy, and we can launch it now. So while it is okay, now we can go ahead and launch another ec2 instance. This time this will be MySQL DB server, MySQL DB server. I'm again selecting Ubuntu, and instance type T2 micro. I'm selecting the same key pair. I need to do that because I'm going to use this key pair to set up bastion host to access this ec2 instance and edit network settings. So we already have selected the right VPC, but this will be in a private subnet. We have two private subnet, but I will be putting this in Asia Pacific Southeast to a, and this will remain disable, and select the existing security group. So we can select the security group. The security group is MySQL security group, and we can go ahead and launch this. I just realized one thing, because as a part of demonstration I wanted to show you guys how to have how to connect Django app to the MySQL DB server without network load balancer. Yes, and I created network load balancer security group, and right now only traffic from network load balancer can go to Django go to MySQL DB server. So for the time being, I will need to go and update, change the security group rules, so that right now we can access directly from MySQL DB, so from Django app to MySQL DB without going through network load balancer. Okay, that's what we need to do. Okay, we can refresh this one, and we have 2 instances running. But before we access or do anything, we just need to change the security group for the time being. I'll open this security group in a new tab. So we can access Django application without any problem, but we cannot access MySQL DB server right now because of this security group. So I'm just going to change it. Edit inbound rule. So right now all traffic only can come from this network load balancer security group. So I need to change that to another all traffic coming from which security group? Security group Django application, and we need to remove that for the time being, and write a description there. This needs to be changed later. Only allow traffic from network load balancer, and save it. So let me tell you one more time what's happening. The Django application have this security group which allow traffic from the internet and from my PC. That's beautiful. And if we go to security group attached to our MySQL DB server, now it can get all traffic originating from Django application security group. So this is a temporary change just for the demonstration's sake, but later we need to put back. We need to change it and only make traffic coming from network load balancer. Okay, with that understanding, let's go ahead and access our ec2 instance. So let me access the app server first. Just need to grab the public IP address. So what I'm going to do here is SSH -i download my key pair, and we need to mention ubuntu @ this. But before I run this, I just realized that the PEM file I downloaded has a permission that's more wide and open. So we need to make sure it's only readable by the current user. So let me do that. So I'll just cancel this out, and what I need to do is just sudo chmod, only make it read permission from main user and nothing for group and others. Downloads my key pair. oh sorry, chmod. Okay, now with that in place, we can try access this. Okay, so we are here. So first thing first, I want to give it a name so that we know we are on our application server. So for that, I will be a root user, sudo su, and I can run command like hostname.ctl, hostname.ctl, set hostname. This is app server 1 at the moment. Okay, I would also like to update hostname host file so that in case it goes through reboot or something, it retains its host name. For that, what I need to do is first I need to grab the IP address of this machine, which is IP address so grave inet. So this is the IP address of this machine, so I will just copy that one and update nano etc host and control shift B and the name of this machine, which is app server 1. So that's beautiful. Now what you can do is we can actually exit from here and exit, and we can log back in. When we log back in, it will have that host name effective. But before I do that, since my main aim is to access the backend MySQL DB server, I need to pass that key using agent forwarding so that I can access from this host. So to do that, what we need to do is I will cancel that one. If I just run ssh-add and list, it will show me the key which is currently attached with this agent forwarding thing. So I want to add, so ssh-add path to the key that we want to add, download my key pair. So it says identity added. So if I run that previous command here, I should be able to see this key pair, my key pair.pem. Now I can forward this. I can forward this to the ec2 instance running in public subnet, this key pair. So how to do that? ssh-a and ubuntu the name of that public IP address again. Okay, oh sorry. Good. And as you can see, now we are on app server 1, but we need to access where? We need to access MySQL DB server, which do not have any public IP address. So we can't access this using public IP address. It only has private IP address. So I will copy this private IP address and I can access from this bastion host. Why the question is why? How can I access? Because if I run ssh-add -shell, I can see the same key is here, listed here. Using the same key pair, I can connect to this. So simply what I need to do is ssh ubuntu @ paste this. That's the private IP address. As you can see, it's asking me for the confirmation. Yes, and I'm there. As you can see, I'm there. So I also want to name it so that I know where I am running my command. So sudo hostname ctl set hostname. This will be MySQL server. Okay, so I also want to update the hostname file. So for that, first I will get the IP address of this machine. So this is the IP address. I will copy that one and update the host name MySQL server in the ec2 file. Nano, I need to be sudo for that. Nano ec host and paste this here and update the name MySQL server. Control O, hit enter and Control X. So if I exit out from here and now I'm back to the app server ec2 instance, and if I again log back in, I can see I'm in MySQL server. That's beautiful. Okay, now we are inside our MySQL server. So let me show you in the diagram where we are. I think the diagram is in here. Just give me a sec. It's in the download. It should be, let me open that one. Open this one and rotate. So now we are here in a Asia Pacific Southeast 2A, that's the availability zone, and we are going to install MySQL server and configure it. Okay, after we set up MySQL server, we'll try to access this server from this ec2 instance. So this is the main goal of this video. I will cancel that out now. Okay, so let's go back. The first thing first, we need to update the package index. So I want to run command as a su root, so I will sudo su and run command now. Let's update the system apt update -y. Okay, so update is successful. Now second thing is to install MySQL server. So in Ubuntu it is very simple. So apt install MySQL server. Okay, hit enter. Okay, we just installed MySQL server. So I will be using systemctl to check the status of this service. Systemctl status MySQL dot service. We can see here the service is active and running. That's beautiful. And in the line loaded, it is also enabled, and vendor preset enabled. That's beautiful. So it's already up and running. Now let me access this MySQL server. Since I am a root user, I can simply type MySQL and I will have the MySQL prompt available. Also, I can exit from root user, and I can run sudo MySQL to access the MySQL prompt. Now we have a MySQL prompt here. I'm not going to run MySQL secure installation in this video. That's very important step to do. I'm skipping that now, but I need to create user and database and grant privileges to the user so that our Django app is the client for this MySQL server, can have access to that database. Okay, so let's create that user. Create user. I'll call that app, because essentially the app is what it's trying to connect to this, but you need to give this name something obscure for the security reason. So I'm just going to give a simple descriptive name, @. So accessing from where? So if I just say localhost, that means only the client from the local host from the same machine can access this this database. But in our case, we are accessing from different machines, so we need to provide this wildcard that allows from any machine. And we need to set up the authentication method. So I'm going to use caching ec2 password. So identified with caching ec2 password by, let's provide the password. So I want to give it a very simple password for the demonstration sake. Password is password and comma and hit enter. So we created this user and we can see query was okay. Now let's create a DB for this user, essentially database for our Django app to store its data. So I will call it, let's create this database. Create database, I will call it MyDB and hit enter. And now this MyDB is created, but this user app has no privilege, cannot do any read, write, update, insert operation. So I need to give that privileges. So I'm going to grant all privileges on this database, on all the tables within this database. So grant all privileges on name of the database is MyDB dot, after dot asterisk means all tables within this database, to whom? To this, right? So I'll just copy and paste to this and hit enter. So the query is okay. So now I can actually exit out of this MySQL prompt and clear the screen, and let me see if I can access it. MySQL -u for user, our user is app, and P for prompting the password. Actually, if I hit enter, it asks prompt for the password, PASSWORD, and we have access to the database. And if I just list the databases, I can see MyDB. So on this database, MyDB, this user, which is essentially our Django app, can store data. So I will exit out from here. But one thing I must mention, right now, only the client from this local host can access it. What I'm trying to say is, if we try to access this MySQL DB from another machine in the network, it cannot, it will not accept that connection. So we need to allow connection from the network. So for that, we need to change the config here. So let's go ahead and do that. I know that there is a file that has this configuration. So I need to find where that file is. So there is a way to do that. I know that I can use grep and read me a line that has local host in its file, and look all the file inside ec MySQL. So this is the command I'm running here. Need to give it a sudo. So essentially what I'm doing here is I am looking through all the files inside ec MySQL that has a line localhost. Okay, let me hit enter because one of those line I need to change, and I can see there are some. This one is not what I want. This is also not what I want. This is what I need to this is the file. This is my file. I need to change that. So sudo nano, I will just paste that here and hit enter. And I need to find for localhost. There we go. Bind address. Actually, the term I was looking for was bind address. I just remember localhost. Anyhow, it right now only bind address from the local host, as you can see here. So either I can provide the IP address from where we are accessing, or just comment this out. I will comment this out. After commenting this out, this MySQL server will listen from the network. I mean, it can listen from connection from any device from the network. So let's save it, Control O, hit enter, Control X. Now, since we made a change in the config, we need to restart the MySQL server. Sudo systemctl restart MySQL service. And let's check if it is running. Well, let's try accessing MySQL-u app. Host is of course localhost, and P for password. PASSWORD. We can, okay, that's beautiful. We are good here. So our MySQL server is ready to store data. So we can go back to our ec2 instance where we plan to run our Django app and try accessing this MySQL server. So I just need to exit from this one, and I am in my app server 1 where I'm going to set up Django app. Let's try accessing our MySQL server. I'm sorry. So let me see if I can access by the host name. So since we gave it a name, so MySQL -h for host is MySQL server. Well, it will not work because I haven't updated this MySQL server in its host file, so it doesn't work. I need to provide the, again, I'll go back to here, and this is MySQL DB server, and I will again copy the private IP address and paste it here, and I can say -u for user, app, -h for hostname, and p for prompt. Sorry, password prompt. Oh no, looks like we need to install MySQL client on this machine to do that. Yes, that's necessary. It doesn't have. So what I do is I will quickly update the system. apt update -y. After successful update, I will install client. Of course, we need client to connect to server. Okay, good. Let's install client, MySQL client, sudo apt install MySQL client, hit enter. Okay, let me clear this and let me see if we have MySQL in the path. Which MySQL the client is in the path. Okay, so we can now run the same command we ran before. Let me hit enter. Oh, it's asking for the password. Let me put the password, password. Hola, we have access to the MySQL server running in a private subnet. So we are good here. So we are ready to set up Django app on this ec2 instance. So in the next video, I will show you guys how to copy the Django application file to this ec2 instance, and then how to set up virtual environment, and then run this application using GUnican. Okay, see you in the next video.